Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Tablelands Regional Council Ordinary Meeting for December. Can I remind everyone to turn their devices off or onto silent, please? And also just flag councillors that at roughly 10 o'clock this morning we'll have the presentation of the Christmas lights. So at that point in the meeting we'll just adjourn the meeting and do the presentation and then have morning tea with those Christmas light winners. All right. Do we have any apologies? Okay. Could I ask everyone to stand, please? I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we meet on today and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. We'll now observe a minute's silence as a mark of respect for the members of our community who have recently passed. We wish their family and friends peace and comfort during this challenging time. Thank you. That brings us to item 6, councillors. Declarations of any conflicts of interest by councillors or senior council officers. Councillor Bilney.
Yeah, through the chair. In accordance with section 150 EQ 4/A of the Local Government Act 2009, I have a prescribed conflict of interest in item 12.2, being T-TRC 24.13, Register of Pre-Qualified Suppliers, Occasional Plant Hire, due to my relationship with Bronson Jusu, who is my stepson. He is the owner, operator of BJ's Plumbing and Civil Contracting and is listed on the proposed register. I therefore intend to leave the meeting whilst the matter is discussed and voted upon.
Thanks, Councillor Bilney. Councillor Hayden.
I inform the meeting I have a prescribed conflict of interest in item 12.2 TRC 24.31, Register of Pre-Qualified Supplies for Occasional Plant Hire, due to my son Harold Fitzgerald submitting a tender. As a result of this prescribed conflict of interest, I will leave the meeting when this matter is to be discussed and voted on.
Thanks, Councillor Hayden. Any more conflicts, councillors or officers? Thank you. That brings us to item 7. The ordinary minutes of the 28th of November. Can I have a mover that those minutes be accepted as a true and accurate record? Councillor Barty's moving. Councillor Spanos seconding. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. We might do business arising now, please. Did we have business arising, Jackie?
No, there's no questions.
No questions on notice. Any questions from the floor today? We get business arising from those minutes. Thank you. No business arising. There are no deputations or delegations today. Councillors, I do have a mayoral minute, which hopefully it's arrived in your inbox a short time ago, just regarding the Mayor's Christmas appeal. As of yesterday morning, the Mayor's Christmas appeal is in receipt of more than $12,700, with more still coming in. I would like to formally acknowledge the very hard work of Tablelands Unite with $3,700, the ongoing dedication of Lions Club of Atherton with $2,500, and also acknowledge two significant private donors, one at $4,000 and another at $500. Councillors are sincerely grateful for the generosity of all donors to give those who need it most over the Christmas New Year period. We also thank the agencies and stakeholders who have contributed in various ways to the delivery of the appeal. So councillors, my motion is on behalf of Tablelands Regional Council and the entire Tableland community, I'd like to move a vote of thanks to the many people who made donations to the Mayor's Christmas appeal. Don't need a seconder for that one, councillors, but those in favour of that motion? That's carried. Thank you. Also, councillors, before we get into the main part of the agenda, I'd just like to flag that item 16.2, TRC Library Service Review. I'd like to move a motion, councillors, that that we withdraw that one from today's agenda. We sought some more information from officers at the pre-agenda meeting on Tuesday, so that we could clarify information that was in the report. Officers need more time to collate those numbers and that data. So I propose that we remove that from today's agenda so that we can look at it in the new year with the refreshed information. So I'll move that. If there could be a seconder for that motion. Councillor Lang is seconding that one. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Okay, councillors, that brings us to the first item on today's agenda, which is item 11.1. B. Watkins, material change of use for garden centre in wholesale nursery, lot 103 on SP 265038-1876 Chuko Road, Walkerman, MCU 24/0017. Do we have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Cardew is moving, and a seconder, Councillor Spanos. Councillor Cardew.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, look, I fully support this. It's another good initiative from the farming fraternity to generate income and to further generate further business within our local government area. So, yeah, good initiative and fully support it. I note that in the report it says that the conditions have been agreed to by the applicant, which is great. So it should all be smooth sailing. So no, fully support it. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Councillors? Did you have anything you need to add? No questions, councillors? Very good. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. That's 11.2. Capital Projects Monthly Report, November 2024. We have a mover of the officer's recommendation. Councillor Barty, moving. Seconder, Councillor Bilney. Councillor Barty.
Sorry, right, I've got a question. Page 44, in relation to the barbecue replacements at Nauru, it's still saying it's 40% delivered, but I thought they were done.
Yeah, I can take that on notice and double check the percentage.
Yeah, that'd be great. And there's a couple more too, just on page 45, there's the Tinnery Foreshore project, that footpath. Do you know where that's at the moment?
Construction hasn't started on that.
Yeah. But the designs
The design's underway.
underway, okay. And the other one on that page is the rationalisation of street bins. That was the Atherton project. I thought that was complete as well, and it's down as 15%.
We need to update that as well.
And then on the following page, page 46, there's just the library resources one, distribution of library books to the 7 libraries. It's 0% complete, and I just wanted a bit more information about what that project actually is, if that's possible. And the animal quarantine one directly under that with the putting in the exercise area and stuff, it's got 10%, and I thought it was further along than that.
No, it's not, that one's.
That one's not.
Yep.
Okay, all right, yep, that was it from me.
Back to you. You're done. Other ones.
Yeah, so have you got all them stored in your mind, those ones?
I do?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
I
good.
can email them if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that-
I'm sure you do, but yeah, if you forget, let me know. Okay,
All good.
Thanks.
all right,
Thanks,
thank you.
councillor Barty. Councillor Lang?
Yeah, just the small entry signs, I was under the impression they'd be done by the end of December for Tolga and
There has been a delay. I believe that's now January.
January.
Yes.
Thank you. Any more questions? That's it. All right, we've got a mover and seconder on 11.2. Those in favour? Carried, thank you. That's 7. 11.3, Advisory Committee Minutes, December 2024. Do I have a mover of the minutes? Councillor Vilney's moving, Councillor Barty seconding. Councillor Vilney?
Through the chair, look, there's nothing more to add. Let's just receive a note of 3 different advisory committee meetings. Self-explanatory. Nothing more to add.
Thank you. Councillor Vilney? Barty, I should say.
That's right. Question for Hillary, I just want some clarification about what actions actually have to come up, because I'm still a bit confused, because the latest I heard was that it had to have a financial impact on council for it to be an action that comes up here, and none of the ones from the advisory committee, the agriculture advisory committee, are a financial impact. They're all, advocacy ones. So I just want it to be really clear what items have to come up here, if that's okay.
Through the chair, so the determination by council was that anything that committed a resource of council or committed council to doing a thing,
Yeah.
It didn't need to be an actual spending of money, but it could be something that might result in spending of money, or might be something that is directing council resources to do something that might otherwise be being done. So essentially, the committees aren't able to approve something. They have to refer that to council to get approval.
So how does an advocacy letter, because that's not committing council to anything,
If it's on behalf of council,
it's on
It's
behalf of
something-
a committee? No? Yeah, it's on behalf of the committee, not council though, so,
so is it a TRC letter?
well, no, well, I was gonna write it, so no.
Okay, so I can take it on notice on that particular
Yeah.
matter, but the.
Yeah, I'm just not clear on, sorry,
The-
I'm not trying to be difficult, I just.
No,
I'm just
it's
not-
it's
I just
perfectly
don't
fine. I mean,
understand it.
I know there was some toing and froing on that, and
Yeah.
my understanding was that there was a, in that particular matter, that there was a letter that was going from council, so it was on behalf, if it's representing council, it's then it requires a
But
resolution
if
of
it's
council.
me writing it on behalf of the committee, it is not representing council, is that how we're,
I can see
there's a.
Look,
review next
my understanding is that you can, as a councillor, can write to anybody about anything, but if you're writing on behalf of council, it should come through the CEO or the mayor on council letterhead, especially if we're writing as an advocacy for something, advocating for something.
Yeah.
Should come through this meeting to be approved, to be for that correspondence to go out under the council heading. You can write as a councillor, in my understanding, on any matter you like, but you're the chair of a council elected committee,
Yeah.
but you're acting on behalf of council. So it should go back to the format of going out under council letterhead.
But then by that, should council read the letter that I'm sending out? Is that?
So through the chair, I think that's the, we probably should take it on notice to go back and have a look at what the actual, I'm just not familiar with what the actual letter is, so yeah, I think that's
Councillor Carty?
Yeah, thanks. And I was going to bring this up too, because I brought this up at the pre-agenda the other day, and we got an email from the mayor yesterday, which is the mayor's views of this explanation, which I don't entirely agree with. I was going to ask, because there's no clarity, I still don't have clarity on it. I have clarity in my own mind, but if there's going to be, if there is some dispute or some uncertainty, I think we need to get some proper representation either through the LGAQ or our legal people, just to say we're all on the same page, because my understanding is the advisory committees have no power whatsoever. All they do is advise council, and the only way you can do that is through this meeting. So when there's actions in the advisory committee minutes, they should go through the meeting to be endorsed by council for any action. They don't have any power. So, and I know that in some of the ones that we're dealing with today is in the Reconciliation Action Advisory Committee, the Cyclone Advisory Committee, and the Agriculture Advisory Committee. There are actions in there which I believe require council resources to action. So those things should, in my mind, go through the meeting.
So through the chair, I think what we might do is, just, as a starting point, is do an information session with council on the advisory committee policy, and reflect on that, and because there's an overlay of what committees can do legislatively versus what council chooses to have committee, how council chooses to have committees operate. So I think that's the starting point, as we go back to the policy. With regards to the Reconciliation Action Advisory Committee, as an example, that committee does have, it's charged with reviewing and providing advice and actions under our Reconciliation Action Plan. So we have an operational plan, our budget already adopted, which requires the Reconciliation Action Advisory Committee to have input to certain things. So if there's already a budget and an activity that's been adopted in the operational plan or budget, doesn't require an additional resolution of council. That's typically how that works. But I think that if we go back to the policy as a policy position and make sure that the policy reflects this council's understanding and intent around advisory committees, that would be a good starting point.
Yeah, because in that, and I don't disagree with what you say. Yeah. I agree with what you say. Yeah. But in there, and this is just something that could be clarified in the Reconciliation Advisory Committee. There was something in there, and just give me a moment to find it. That there was an action item there to create a training package to deliver to TRC staff over 3 years. Yeah, that's a cost to council. Now, whether that's in the thing, I'm not sure. That's what I was going to ask.
So yes, I can.
So that, I'm happy with that, if that's what it's in there, but there are other actions in those committees that do, in my understanding, require a resolution from council.
They certainly do, and so through the chair, in the case of the minutes in the, I know that the actions in the Cycling Advisory Committee and the Reconciliation Action Advisory Committee minutes have been reviewed by the General Manager with the respective business areas to ensure that the actions that are identified in there are already covered through operational plan items.
Anyway, I think if we have an information session, and prior to that information session, you get some advice from the LGAQ or a legal representative or whatever, and bring it and have that at the information. I think that would be good for everybody to just show a little bit more clarity, a little bit more certainty, and more open and transparent.
Councillors, any more on this one? Those in favour? Carried, thank you. That brings us to infrastructure and environment. Item 12.1. TRC 2024-27, roof renewals, Lapidary Club and Lakeside Public Amenities. Can I have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Are you moving the officer's recommendation?
Mr Mayor, I'd like to move an alternative recommendation.
Did anyone like to move the officer's recommendation?
I'll move it so Kev can probably say, oh, I can't do that, can I? No, that's all right, Annie.
He can still have his say. But
But
I
he
must,
put an alternative.
Point of order, Mr Mayor, I want to move an alternate I'm moving an alternate recommendation.
I understand. I asked if anyone would like to move the officer's recommendation. Anyone like to move the officer's recommendation? Councillor Cardew.
Thank you. I've got an alternate recommendation that I'd like to move. It's on the screen. I'll read it out for the viewers. That council not accept any of the tenders for the roof renewals of the Lapidary Club or the Lakeside Amenities Block, and 2, undertake the roof renewals of the Lapidary Club and the Lakeside Amenities Block using council's own internal resources within council's building and construction team.
Councillor Cardew, you're seeking a seconder.
I am.
Councillor Lang seconding. Councillor Cardew.
Thank you. Look, I'm pretty disturbed about this report that comes to council asking for a lot more money than what's been budgeted for. It went out to tender and it come back with an absolutely exorbitant price to do a simple re-roof of the Lapidary Club and the Lakeside Soil Block. I'm a builder, I'm a licensed builder by trade. I've been a building certified with the local government for over 30 years. Back in the day, I used to run the construction team for the local government, and we have the capability of doing it in-house. And we have to get away from spending ratepayers' money unnecessarily on costs like this here that we can do ourselves, and more importantly, this should have run alarm bells with our officers when they did this report. This should have run alarm bells. So what I'm proposing is that it be done in-house. Yesterday afternoon, I rang a local shed company to get an indicative price on a cost to construct a brand new 500 square metre shed. And that shed out at the Lapidary Club is less than 500 square metres. But on a 500 square metre shed, brand new, slab to construct, slab, erect, everything, in the order of $250,000 to $280,000 to complete a whole new shed. And we're asking for $340,000 just to put a roof on one, re-roof it. Absolutely ridiculous. So I'm putting this motion up here so that that we can at least on this particular occasion save council and our ratepayers a significant amount of money.
Councillor Holden.
So can I also ask, which is fine, but the wall cladding is in poor condition, requires replacement, and yet you've only got the renewals, the roof renewals? If you read, so is that going to include the
If we
wall
can,
cladding? Well, it's not there, because
I'm
that's
happy
what's
to
in
amend
there.
that to include the wall cladding. I just put it all as one.
Councillors. Councillor Lang.
Look, I strongly agree with Kev on this one. We've got very capable staff. We need to start using our own resources to save the community funds. That's what I believe.
Thanks, Councillor Lang. Councillor Billney.
Yeah, through the chair. Look, I understand where Councillor Cardew's going with this. I'm just not understanding of whether council has the resources to do it and whether by doing it ourselves financially we actually get a better outcome. So I'd probably like to explore that a little bit.
So through the chair, if I may. So obviously we've got a very competent and capable building team within council, and they're fully allocated already. We've got a large program of works scheduled this year, so we need to make decisions and choices about which components of those we outsource and which we deliver with our own team. So if council decides to approve this alternative recommendation, then obviously council staff can deliver that work. It will just mean that we have to assess the program that we had allocated to them and consider if we need to defer or outsource some of those works, and then go through tender processes for those if we outsource them. I also note that although we've got a very capable business council, it's not a very big team, so this will, I think, from memory, I think there was 10 weeks allocated for this work for an external company to deliver. So we need to understand how much time our resources would be allocated to this job and how that impacts our program. Just for noting, I do agree that the pricing is significantly above the budget that we initially estimated for this at the start of our budgeting process, which is probably more than a year ago now. However, the scope has changed to some extent, so there is indeed some wall cladding that needs to be replaced. That wasn't foreseen at the time. We're also including a concrete apron around the building to protect against vermin, and there's also the addition of the recently by council approved community project request for a slab in front of the full length of the dairy club as well, which we've included to be delivered as part of this project, with obviously the external funding provided by the group itself. So there are some additional items that have resulted to some extent to the increase in the budget requirements. I also note that pricing of materials is going up and is forecasted to go up by the actual industry, is forecast to go up by another 4.8% in February as well. So things are not getting cheaper. It is a sign of the time, but fully understand if council wants to make an alternative resolution. I don't know if that will result in an overall saving to council, because there will be other works that will have to be either be scheduled or delivered in a different way, and I just have no full understanding at this point in time as to what the effects of that are.
Thanks. Thanks. Councillor Barty.
Mark, does that department need more resources? Like, can we?
Look, that's probably a discussion for a different time when we do a service review for our facilities and building team, maybe. What we normally do, so there's a couple of matters there I can briefly talk about. Yes, we would love to have more staff to deliver more things in-house. However, sometimes our workload varies quite significantly. So you don't want to have so much staff that on leaner years, when you don't have to do that much, that you have them basically in excess of your requirements. So you try and find a mix between different delivery methodologies that gives you the flexibility that best suits the requirements that you have foreseen for the years coming. So it's definitely something we would have to look at a service review. The other element is it's really difficult for council to attract and retain trade staff because of the way our industrial relations requirements are and our payment schedules are and things like that. And we often struggle to even fill all our vacancies in our outdoor workforce. So you by default you are occasionally reliant on external providers to assist you to deliver the work that we need to do. Love to have more staff. Yep.
Councillor Lang.
You just mentioned a slab. Is that essential?
So this is an apron slab around the external side of the building, and that's just to ensure that vermin and things can't get in, and also that rainwater and things like that don't bond against the actual structure and damage it. The slab in front of the Mapaderi Club, that was a community project request for them to have.
And they're paying for that one.
And they're paying for that one. We've just included it in the project because we're delivering the work anyway. So that just provides efficiencies. We've already got a contractor doing concrete work there. They might as well do that as well. And we would charge the club for that.
So potentially that figure technically could be less.
So if we
That's
hadn't
including
included
the
that,
slab
it's not a massive amount.
Yeah.
Like, from memory, it's around 15,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to. And that's Kylie. She's delivering the project. Yeah. So that wasn't at the time of budgeting a year ago. We didn't even know that community request was going to come. So that was not included in the budget at the time. So yeah.
Councillors? Councillor Carter?
Thanks, Mayor. Look, I've heard what Mark said, and, I've been there and done it. We are more than capable. Council staff, when I was running the show, quite a few years back, council staff built the extension to the Shire office. Council staff built the big hall at the Atherton State School, at the high school up here. Council staff built the reservoir at Troll Avenue. Council staff built the bridge across Grove Street. Council staff built the reservoirs at Willencock, just to name a few. We are more than capable of doing this, more than capable. And we have to start utilising our own resources in-house to stop the overspending of ratepayers' money on always getting contractors in all the time. So, having said that, I'd ask that the motion be put and voted on.
I haven't spoken yet, Councillor Carter.
Well, I asked the moderator to reply, and you should have spoken before, Mr. Mayor.
Well, I was giving councillors the opportunity to talk before I spoke. So, Councillor Cardew is wanting the motion to be put. That's a procedural motion. We'll put that to the vote. If the motion is to be put, then we'll go to the vote. But I'd like to advise councillors I would like to say some things. So Councillor Cardew is asking if the motion be put. Those in favour? Okay, the motion be put. So Councillor Cardew has got a motion that he's moved on the screen, seconded by Councillor Lang. Those in favour? Carried. So that brings us to 12.2. Councillor Vilney and Councillor Hayden have left the room. 12.2 TRC 24-31, Register of Pre-Qualified Suppliers for Occasional Plant Hire. Can we have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Barty. And a second to Councillor Spanos. Councillor Barty.
My next question was, this list is okay before. Is this more or less people than were on it previously?
Through the chair, thanks for that question. Sorry, I don't know exactly how I don't remember exactly how many we had on the current contract, but it's from memory, it's relatively similar.
It's about the same. Okay, yeah, that was my only question.
Councillor Lang.
When the work does come through, how is it that one of those people selected? Like, is it a fair and equitable selection, or it's just you're top of the list so we give the work to you, or?
Through the chair, thanks for the question. So it's not a ranked list. That would be a register of preferred suppliers. We would rank it based on price. this is a register of pre-qualified. So basically all the suppliers have been determined to be qualified to deliver those services that we require. And the process, how it works is the officer within council that requires the service contacts an officer in our fleet service department, and they basically use 4 criteria to select the supplier. So it's based on a combination of price, location, what machinery they have, and availability, and they also proximity to the work from their base station, and they also try to, where possible, ensure that there's an even spread as much as possible over the different suppliers.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Councillors? Those in favour? Carried. That's 5 objections. Bring them in. Yeah, if, Mark, could you go just go and grab the... That brings us to 12.3, TTRC 2023-19, extension provision of management services, Lakeside Caravan Park. Can we have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Spanos and Councillor Barty. Seconded, Councillor Spanos.
Yeah, I have a question on this, Mayor. Just wondering what's taking so long with this design phase. It began in September of 21 and we're out to 2024. I don't understand why that's taking so long. Mark, if you can help me.
Thank you.
That's
pretty
I understand management's doing a great job out there, which I'm happy with, but this is just prolonging things. And as things prolong, we all know that the costs tend to be greater, which is what tends to happen with both the lease and then the costing of actually doing the job. So, yeah, I just wonder why it's taking so long.
Through the chair, thanks for that question, Councillor Spanos. So yes, the initial decision was made in 2021 to sewer the caravan park and the peninsula to resolve the issues that we have there with the septic system, specifically around the caravan park and the toilet blocks that provided there to the community. However, when council makes its decisions about a budget for a specific year, it has to consider all the priorities of the different services that it provides and all the capital works that it wants to undertake. And due to those prioritization discussions, this project has basically been shifted back in time to allow for funding other priorities that council had at the time. That's the only reason why it hasn't been delivered today.
So it's all to do with funding.
Yep.
Councillor Barty.
Yeah, my question was just in relation to the 12-month period we're extending it for. Is there any scope to extend it for longer? Like, this project is going to be a fair few more years. These guys are doing a great job. Be good security for us and them.
I need to quickly have a look.
It says as provision in the contract,
yeah,
section 2.2.
Yeah, so I'm happy to take it on notice, but I do believe that it's specifically in the contract limited to a 1 year extension.
Is there a reason that it gets limited to a 12-month period?
Through the chair again, that's probably because that's historically how council has approved these contracts to be established, and to have them for maybe a 1 to 2 year period with 1 or 2 1-year extension abilities. If council in the future is of mind for these type of contractual arrangements to have longer periods, longer terms and longer extension periods included in that, that's something obviously so more than happy to include. But this is just basically a reflection of how that's previously been preferred by council. So there's no legislative requirement to do it that way or anything.
There's nothing like that, so we could.
We could
look
choose
at a
any
longer
term, yeah.
extension, okay, I'd like to.
However, for this specific contract, it is a contractual condition, so for this specific
So we
contract, we
can't
can't
amend the
amend it.
contract?
No, that would be a variation of the contract, and that would require the actual supplier's improvement or approval of that as well, so that, yeah.
So if I could, just through the chair, what we might take it on notice. I think the question is, how can we? So it's not currently provided in the contract, is what the general manager's saying, that the contract currently only provides for a 12 month. So the question we need to take on notice is, how can we offer a longer extension under the current contractual arrangements?
That'd be good.
How could we do that?
Yeah, thank you.
Councillor Barjett.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. But trying to get back to ask the question why it's taken so long. My recollection on the last term that we tried to we put this out to tender to try and get leases, someone to take it on and to lease the caravan park to run it. We've identified out there that the septic system is failing and needed to be upgraded significantly, and that it would be unfair on someone coming in with a lease arrangement and then have to do significant outlay. We have to outlay significant funds to upgrade the septic system. So we've gone down the track of looking at sewering the peninsula, as we all know, and I think until we can get that caravan park sewered, and we're going to be in the same boat. So unfortunately, we're stuck with having to have a management arrangement for the running of that park until such time as we can get the sewage to the peninsula and get that park sewered.
So through the chair, my question was just, why is it taking so long, that's all. And can I understand that there are constraints with budgets? I absolutely understand that. It's just, we're just prolonging things. I would like to see some action on these things. However, understand, guys, we just have to work that with our budget, and maybe in the next year's budget we'll look at it then. I appreciate what you're saying, Kev, yeah. Thank you.
Councillors, final call. Those in favour? Carried. That's 7. That brings us to item 12.4, electrical vehicle charging stations policy. We have a mover of the officer's recommendation, Councillor Lang and Councillor Barty. Councillor Lang.
Well, I'm excited about this, actually, to be honest, more than Marie, I think.
Oh, no.
I know. It's just bringing us up, you know, with the way the world's going, and I think it's just, yeah, fantastic. I'm super proud of this one.
Very good, thank you.
I was going to say that. Nothing done.
Councillor Billney.
Yeah, through the chair, I just general comment about the policy that's endorsed by council. It does guide the strategic placement of charging infrastructure on council-owned land. Having a policy will enable a consistent planning, encouraging private sector investment, and obviously creating that economic benefit by drawing those people onto the tablelands. We know that there's a deficiency, so look, I think it's a great thing to have the policy, and it'll be well received by some in the community that have been asking for something. So yeah,
very good. Those in favour? Carried, thank you.
7.
12.5, natural asset strategy. We have a mover of the officer's recommendation, Councillor Barty. Councillor Billney seconding. Councillor Barty.
I'm really happy with the strategy. I was really happy with the feedback that came in as well. I thought there were some really constructive points that were made, and I think they were well adopted. And yeah, thanks for your work on it, Tudor, and the NAMAC committee over the years. So yeah, I'm excited about this one too.
Councillor Billney.
yeah, through the chair. Look, yeah, this would commence 2.5, 3 years ago, roughly, with the former NAMAN group, which then become NAMAC. They helped inform the document, and the draft went out, and there were some omissions which they wanted to change. So I think we've got a very contemporary document now which helps guide, and again, this is something that the community's been looking for, and I fully support it.
Thank you. Councillors, those in favour? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to 12.6. Variation to contract T00087 project management and contract administration. Do we have a mover of the officer's recommendations? Councillors? Do we have a mover?
I'll move it.
Councillor Lang, moving. Seconder? I'll second it. Thank you. Councillor Lang?
I actually don't agree with this one. Yeah, why, I just don't understand why it's been increased. He's just doing administration services. Project management, isn't it?
Oh, there's a bit more to it.
Bit more to it. I
More to
think,
it than
yeah.
that. So they act as the primary contact for the contractor, so handling all initial queries, comments, requests for information, coordinating what we're doing and with our responses, keeping us up to date with what we're doing. Every time there's a progress claim, they're the ones that carry out the assessment of that claim, and has the work been done or on materials on site, things like that. And even through to providing the documentation that goes into our systems as well. What else would you say, Mark?
So they also are the inspectors, so they do the inspection of the whole points and the test points, and actually making sure that the contractor is delivering the work in accordance with the specifications and conditions of contract on our behalf. So if I may through the chair, so the reason why this variation is being requested is because when we initially engaged them to provide those project management and contract administration services for us, there was that was based on an assumption that the project duration, so basically the finalisation of the design where they provided services to us, and the construction period was going to be a total of 43 weeks, so 10 weeks design and then reward and all those things, and then 33 weeks in construction. Unfortunately, due to various reasons, the construction is taking longer than anticipated at that time, which means that their project management and contract administration services are also required for a long period of time. So this project was not a project that had a lot of planning, because this was to service a development that we had no prior knowledge for, and we had not anticipated to deliver this project for several years in our 10-year capital plan. It was brought forward and basically had to be delivered from project initiation to actual physical completion of the works in just over a year, which is quite a compressed time frame for a project of this nature. We're talking about spending close to $10 million on a reservoir and 4-kilometre pipeline, including all the integration into the existing systems. So fast track project, we had to negotiate several easements, which you normally do before you start construction, but because of the way that this was fast tracked, we had to do that during the construction. That resulted in some delays for the contractor to actually install their pipelines, for example, through private property, because the easements had to be established. We've had, as you may know, we've had quite a bit of wet weather, which also impacted the project, and there are some other changes in scope and things like that that was also impacted on the project, again because the scope wasn't probably as well defined as we would normally do when we do proper investigations and design, when we have the time. In this case, we didn't have the time. So we're now basically in the last couple of months of delivering this project, which is the critical period where we basically have to finalise all the RFIs, so requests for information, to ensure that we get what what we actually initially asked for, what we thought we asked for in the design and construction contract. We need to deal with all the variations for which this service provider has got all the history, and we need to ensure that we don't overpay the contractor for claims that are actually not agreed to in the earlier stages of this project. We also get close to the commissioning period, which requires a lot of cooperation and collaboration between the contractor, the project manager and contract administrator and our own operational staff to ensure that we commission this system while the system is still live and servicing customers as well, which is quite critical. So we're now getting into the critical part of the project, and to basically not have this service provider that's got all the history around the contract and the agreements made early in the process would expose council to quite a bit of risk, I would suggest. We also, that's complicated by the fact that throughout this project we had a change in management in the water sector, in the water section, and also the internal project manager that we had allocated to oversee the contractor and this project manager, contract administrator left, and although we've got a new manager water and waste, we haven't actually been able to source an internal project manager to guide that process. So that's basically currently being serviced as much as possible by myself and Charles at this point in time. So that's basically the reason why we're proposing to vary this contract and extend the period.
I think Councillor Barty had a hand up before, then we'll go to Councillor.
My question was regarding Arrow Industries. Have they previously sought extensions of contract and things like that from us? Like, what is our history of working with them? Is this unusual?
Oh, that's a difficult question to answer, because we do a lot of work with different consultancies, and including Arrow, and a consultant would not ask for an extension or a variation of the contract unless there's actually a reason for it. They would not be asking for this if there was actually services required beyond what they tendered initially. So in this case, it's not a surprise. If we want to use them for a long period of time, we would have to award this variation. If we don't award this variation, their contract has ended, because what they offered, that period has passed. So then they'll just leave the project and leave it to us.
Councillor Hayden.
So through the chair, Mark's explanation confused me, because if I read this, AREA have been engaged since the early stages of the project, being instrumental in developing the scope, the tender document, the tender assessment, and then the project managers and contracts. So to me, they should have known it all the way through. So to me, your big one, I couldn't quite grab what well, that's what it says here, and I'm just wondering, when we talked about the scope, because of the wet, they couldn't complete the pipeline. What you saying? Like, I was sort of lost there.
So we have two contracts. We have the contract of actually delivering the works. Yep. That is with FGF. So they actually build. So they've got the design and construct contract, and we've got a contract with Arrow to project manage and conduct the contract administration to ensure that the contractor is delivering the construction contract as we require it to be. So they're providing a service on behalf of council to manage the contract, basically, and the project. As the construction contract is taking longer than what we initially anticipated, that means that we also require those project and contract management services for a long period of time than what they initially were engaged for. So if we want to continue them on the project to provide those services for council to manage the contractor, basically in delivering their the construction contract, we need to vary the contract with them to happen. I hope that helps.
Councillor Cardew.
Thank you, Mayor. Hell will freeze over before I vote for this. I am absolutely disgusted in the way that we manage our projects. I'm sick of all these variations coming to council. Every single council meeting we get to attend, there's a variation of some sort. Treatment, whether it be private consultants or what have you. I'm up to here with private consultants thinking that they can use us as a milking cow all the time. We put in place a project management office to manage all our projects, and yet to try and stem this outpour of council's ratepayers' funds. And here we are, still 12 months or 18 months down the track, still doing it. It's got to stop. And I for one will not be supporting this. We have enough experts in our organisation. We have good people in our organisation we pay good money to, who are more than qualified to manage these types of projects. Enough's enough for me. I'm not supporting it.
Councillor Villani?
Through the chair, look, the reasons behind the request has been explained. It's a significant project that we need to get done. You know, it's a $10 million project. Yes, the cost increase is regrettable, but we are where we are. We need to get it done. So, you know, if that means we've got to get external resources through Arrow to do it, so yeah.
Councillors, look, we're bordering on getting operational. This is an operational matter. Officers have come back to us because they need to complete this part of the project, and there's been delays, which is a very common thing in any organisation. This is seeking a small variation to a contract. It's a very significant piece of water infrastructure. Council, when we sit around this table, we need to make decisions as directors of a board and not tell officers how they should run their operations. This is using an existing consultant who's been involved all along, who got to the end of their timeline. They need some more money to finish the job, which wasn't originally meant to go this long. So it's not a big deal, but it's a really important infrastructure project, and we should be supporting it and not telling operations how they need to run the show. Councillor Kaji?
Mr Mayor, I totally disagree. It is a big deal. This is not operational, this is budget. We control the budget. This is us. We are tasked with managing ratepayer funds to the best utilisation that we can. And I'm sorry, but this is not good utilisation of ratepayers' funds.
Final call, councillors. Those in favour of the officer's recommendation? Lost. That's 2-5. Councillors, it's 10 o'clock. We will actually adjourn until we've got the Christmas lights. So we'll adjourn for approximately 30 minutes. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to everyone here today to participate in the TRC 2024 Christmas Lights competition presentation. This year we received 27 entries, 21 of those were homes and 6 were streets. Thank you to our judges, Deputy Mayor David Bilney and Councillor Marie Barty, who alongside Jody had the enjoyable task of visiting all your homes and streets. And as someone who's done the judging the last 2 years, I know it's a big task, and it's also an amazing task to see all the work that's gone in to those Christmas lights. The Christmas Lights Tour is available on Council's website and Facebook, and I encourage you to take the time to drive around to enjoy the wonderful light displays of those properties who still have their lights up. Today, the top 3 placings for the 2 categories will receive these amazing hampers filled with lots of Christmas cheer and joy. And now to announce the winners for, we're doing the street ones first. 3rd place is Anthony Drive, Atherton.
Thank you. Oh, I don't know what you're doing. Share it with the street.
Yes, thank you.
Well done. Thanks very much. Thanks, well done there. The 2nd place for the street category is Main Street Miller Miller.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're not going to take that with them.
Do you want to take that now? Thank you.
After the next one? Yeah, I will once. Okay. And now, for the 1st place for the street category, goes to Elwood Close, Atherton.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and now to announce the placings for the residents category. The competition was very strong in this category. 3rd place in the residents category is 33 Irvine Street, Kiroi.
We particularly like Santa camping. Yeah. We like Santa camping.
I'll give it to you again.
Thank you.
Second place in the residents category is 12 Herbert Street, Herberton.
On their behalf.
Looks like they're not here. We'll get that to them. And 1st place in the residents category is 38 and 40 Oleander Drive, Youngeborough, which is a tie for 1st place.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations there.
Thank you.
One's yours.
38.
Good. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank
Would you like to say a few words?
No,
Okay. Would you like to say a few words? Yeah, come on, just come on up.
So this is fantastic that we've got 1st place, but I just want to say a few words. I'm flying off the cuff here because I don't have anything prepared. Christmas lights is something that is not just about the competition. So I'm just going to tell you a really quick story. So I'm 1st generation Australian, and when I grew up, we were lucky to have a tree with a bit of tinsel and a couple of lights, and that was about it. But then my parents, about 20 years ago, went to Hong Kong, and they brought home a set of fairy lights. They put it on the outside. This is after I'd left, and they were empty nesters. And from there, it's grown It is a passion of theirs, and they do it every single year, and it's bigger and better. And for us, you know, it is about getting in the shed and making things, and it's about, you know, planning and doing things differently. But what's really important to us is the smiles that it brings to the kids. It's the oohs and the ahs, and it's not about winning for us. It is about every night that you put the lights on and they all come around and they, you know, they come back. Like, we've got kids that come every single night before bed, and that's what it's about, you know, that's what it's about for us. So to all everybody else, okay, to everybody else that's competed or hasn't competed, even if you put a string of fairy lights out, it's amazing.
Well done.
Now to announce the People's Choice Award for the nominated homes. The votes have been counted, and the winner for the 2024 People's Choice Christmas Lights is awarded to 20 Golf Links Road, Athol.
Thank you. Thank you.
A short and sharp presentation, everyone. Thank you to all who participated in this year's Christmas lights competition, and congratulations to each of you. Please join us for some morning tea, and the media would perhaps like to take a few photos as well. A safe and Merry Christmas to all. Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Bilney's going to say a few words.
Sorry, last but not least. Just on behalf of Councillor Barty and myself and Jody, thank you for driving us around.
We only got lost a couple of times.
Just as a matter of interest, displaying of lights during Christmas actually predates the holiday itself. It started in the Scandinavian countries. And it was used to brighten up the winter solstice by turning night into day. So they did it with Yule logs, bonfires and candles. So early Christians adopted this pagan tradition without fear of persecution. So I thought it was pretty interesting how Christmas lights actually evolved. But I'd like to firstly thank all the nominees for the 2024 Christmas lights. As we all celebrate the Christmas spirit, I'd like to extend my gratitude to each and every one of you who have displayed a sense of creativity and effort, and also some at cost, I would suggest, but it really displays our community. Whilst driving around the district, I noticed that there was also a lot of lights on, but no nominations. So I can only ask the community, if you're going to the effort to display and have that festive spirit, please nominate. It's a simple process online. Nominate and be part of the process. To the winners, congratulations, but importantly, everyone that's been part of it, thank you.
Morning tea, everyone. Okay, everyone. We'll reconvene the meeting. Thanks very much. That brings us to item, it brings us to Community and Corporate Services, item 13.1. The financial report, November 2024. Do we have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Lamb and Councillor Barty. Councillor Lamb.
No, I'm happy the actual operating position is slightly less than the budget year to date, so I think we're pretty much on track with everything.
Thank you. Councillors? Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. 13.2, the corporate plan 2025 to 30. Have a mover of the officer's recommendation. Councillor Spanos and Councillor Hayden. Councillor Spanos?
I have no comment on that. Mayor, thank you. I think we've done a great job with that. I'm happy to move that.
Councillor Billney?
Through the chair, I just a very quick summary about the corporate plan as being essential for effective governance, provides a structured approach to achieving the community's long-term vision, and ensures accountability, transparency, and the efficient use of resources. So I support this document, which has also been informed by the councillors around the table here today.
Very good, thanks Councillor Billney. Councillors? Those in favour? Carried, thank you. 7. That brings us to 13.3. Audit Risk and Improvement Committee for December 2024. We have a mover of the officer's recommendation. Councillor Barty and Councillor Billney. Councillor Barty?
No, nothing to add to that.
Those in favour? Carried, thank you. Uh, 13.4, renewal of term lease lot 64 on CP CWL 232 Perrott Road, Caban. Mover of the officer's recommendation, Councillor Hayden and Councillor Barty. Councillor Hayden?
No, that's all great.
Anyone like to talk to this one? Those in favour? Thank you. 7. 13.5, expression of interest outcome, 2 Docks Road, Herberton. Mover of the officer's recommendation, Councillor Hayden. Seconder, Councillor Spanos. Councillor Hayden.
All I've got to say is it's great that it's finally coming to an end, and we can release it out.
Thank you. Final call, councillors. Those in favour? Carried. 7. 13.6, enterprise risk management, adoption of risk appetite statement. Those in mover of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Spanos. Seconder, Councillor Billney. Councillor Spanos.
I'm happy with this as well, Mayor. I think we've gone over this enough.
You. Those in favour? Carried. 7. That brings us to business without notice. Councillor Lang is business without notice.
So Tolga and its surrounding areas are currently experiencing a surge in growth, both in residential development and the emergence of new businesses. This growth is characterised by an increase in housing projects, the establishment of various commercial entities, and a rising population seeking new opportunities. However, this positive trend is being undermined by a significant shortcoming, the lack of adequate sewage utilities. This deficiency poses a serious barrier to future advancements as it undermines public health, environmental quality, and overall community well-being. To truly unlock Tolga's full potential and enable it to thrive as a vibrant modern community, it is crucial to prioritise the development of comprehensive sewage services. This step will ensure that residents and businesses alike can flourish in a safe, sustainable environment. So I would like to move a motion which we have on the screen there. to initiate investigations into feasible options into sewage utilities in the surrounding areas.
So Councillor Lang's moving that item. Looking for a seconder, Councillor Barty. You seconding that one, Councillor Barty? Yep.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Yep. So you can talk to that one. Yeah. Councillor.
Yeah, so like I said, the Tolga is growing. It is, at the moment, there's so many developments happening out there, but we cannot go any further because of the lack of utilities in the area. It is a well sought after area because of the lifestyle that you can have there. You can have your small block, you can have your big block. Businesses want to come, businesses are growing, and we just need to start looking after Tolga in our areas.
Thank you.
I'll just ask the General Manager if have these investigations been done before, Mark, or what's been done before with Tolga?
Through the chair, I am aware that there has in the past been a plan that is documented on the mapping system for a part of Tolga to sewer that. But I'm not sure what the basis of that plan was, so we would have to look at that. Obviously, I have no prior notice of this notion, so I haven't actually looked into that in great detail. But I would suggest that that wasn't for the whole of Tolga. We need to understand this scope that Councillor Lang is intended to include in this. Does this include Tandera and Rangeview, or is this just? So yeah, we need to understand and then work towards optioneering what the best solution for that would be.
Very good. Councillor Carter.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I totally support this. I've been advocating for some time now to look at a sewage system for Tolga and surrounding areas, and I think it's well and truly worthy of investigation now. I know in my past life when I was a certifier with council, the number of business people that come to me looking to invest in commercial activities in the Tolga CBD were hamstrung by the fact that the CBD wasn't sewered. So they because it wasn't sewered, they couldn't do what they wanted to do, so they went somewhere else. Fully support it. I think it's got good timing. We're going to be initiating a new town planning scheme. We're looking at a new town planning scheme, and this would be a very good opportunity in that process to include sewerage of the Tolga and the surrounding areas. Fully support it.
Thank you. Councillors? No one else wishes to talk, we'll take it to the vote. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Business without notice, councillors. Councillor Cardew.
Yeah, thank you, Mary. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank our community, thank my fellow councillors, and thank our staff for all their contributions, and wish everybody a safe and Merry Christmas and festive season.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor
Yeah,
Spanos.
I'd like to echo that. I was just thinking the same thing. So our staff especially, councillors of course, we're doing a great job. I think we are. So hopefully our constituents are as well. Yeah, thank you and have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Very good. Thanks, councillors. That brings us to our confidential session. We've got some confidential items, councillors. So could we have a mover to go into confidential and close the meeting? Councillor Lang's moving, and Councillor Spanos seconding. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Okay, councillors, we'll reconvene. We'll go to item 16.1, service review, TRC Visitor Information Centres, VIX Do we have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Barty was moving and Councillor Spanos seconding. I need to read them. I'll just read these out. So we've got a mover and seconder that Council 1, receive and note the TRC Visitor Information Service Review Report. 2, endorse discontinuing the accreditation of the Ravenshoe Visitor Information Centre. 3, endorse a review of retail products and sales in visitor information centres. 4, endorse that on completion of the Destination Marketing Review, officers undertake a full tourism/visitor information centre service review and rationalisation of visitor information centres. 5, officers review the role and location of the Atherton Visitor Information Centre as part of the Visitor Information Centre network. Those in favour? Carried. That's 7. Okay, we withdrew 16.2 at the beginning of the meeting today, so we'll go to 16.3. 16.3 is trustee sublease to the Atherton Performing Arts Incorporated. Can we have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Lang is moving and Councillor Bilney is seconding. I'll read those out. That council rescind the resolution of 23 March 2023, which provided for disposal of the Atherton Performing Arts Theatre on Lot 14 on CP A3 1949, also known as 6 Silo Road, Atherton, by relinquishing council's trusteeship and advising the state, represented by the Department of Resources, that council supports A, the change of purpose of the reserve, and B, appointment of the Atherton Performing Arts Incorporated to become the new trustee of the reserve. 2, instead apply the exemptions under section 236 1B2 and 1C3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012 to dispose of a valuable non-current asset other than by tender or auction to a community organisation that is the existing tenant of the land. 3, enter into a new trustee sublease over part of Lot 14 on CP A3 1949 in favour of the current sublease, Atherton Performing Arts Incorporated. 4, delegate authority to the Chief Executive Officer under section 2571B of the Local Government Act 2009 to negotiate and finalise the trustee sublease and do all things and sign all documents to give effect to this resolution. Those in favour? Carried. 7. Thank you. That brings us to item 16.4. This one is the Chief Executive Officer contract negotiation, that council delegate to the Mayor the authority to negotiate terms and conditions of employment with the preferred candidate for the position of Chief Executive Officer, including but not limited to relocation assistance, remuneration, tenure and other contractual matters within broadly agreed parameters. Could we have a mover and seconder of that motion? Councillor Lang and Councillor Bilney. Those in favour? Carried. That's 7. Thank you. Okay, councillors, that brings us to the end of our meeting. Before I sign off, on behalf of myself, I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and thank you for the term, the new term we've got underway. It's been busy, and we've all done a lot of work, and I thank everyone for that. Thanks very much. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Meeting closed. Meeting closed.